Ouch. Did you feel that? No, exactly. That's the funny part. You're already bleeding, and nobody laid a hand on you. Look who's confused now. Eyes open, mouth closed. You thought punishment needed chains, bars, cages. Surprise. The cleanest sentences. Leave no fingerprints. They didn't chase you, didn't threaten you, didn't scream. They smiled, and suddenly, doors closed, voices faded, rooms got colder. You called it bad luck. Ouch. You called it coincidence. Ouch again. But tell me, why does it feel so precise? Like a verdict, whispered directly into your spine. No courtroom, no judge, no gavel. Yet here you are, standing in the middle of a maze you don't remember entering. Congratulations, you just graduated. And you don't even know who wrote your sentence. Yet, you didn't notice when it started. Of course you didn't. That's how real trials work. No summons, no envelope, no knock on the door, just pressure. A feeling that something is watching without blinking. You think trials need rooms, wooden benches, raised voices. Cute idea. This one has no walls, no rules explained, no charges read aloud. Because rules create resistance, and resistance ruins the experiment. So they stay quiet, silence. That's the accusation. Not what you said, not what you did, what you didn't say, what you swallowed, what you let slide. Because it was easier to look away. See, you think innocence comes from action. Wrong. Guilt is collected in pauses, in hesitations, in moments where you felt something was off and chose comfort instead. No objections allowed. You don't even know you're being observed until the air feels heavier, until opportunities arrive late, until conversations end early, until doors that used to open start pretending they were never there. Coincidence? Adorable. The test begins before awareness, because awareness changes behavior. And they don't want your performance. They want your default, who you are, when no one is supposed to be looking. Every choice is logged, every silence highlighted. And the scariest part, you're not on trial for being wrong. You're on trial for being passive, for letting the verdict write itself, while you waited for instructions that were never coming. No judge steps forward. No voice explains the criteria. You just feel it, a subtle tightening, a sense that the room is smaller than it used to be. Welcome. The trial has been in session long before you arrived. You keep looking for faces. That's mistake number one. Judges like these don't sit high. They blend in. They stand beside you, laugh with you, not at the right moments, and never reveal what they're measuring. Because power doesn't need introductions. It watches quietly. You imagine authority as something loud, uniformed, obvious. That's adorable. The real judges don't raise their voices. They lower the temperature. Suddenly, emails go unanswered. Invitations stop arriving. Your name sounds unfamiliar. In rooms you helped build. No confrontation, no rejection letter, just absence. See, these judges aren't interested in your success. They're interested in your awareness. They want to know how long it takes before you realize you're no longer being included. And when you finally do, they watch how you react. Do you panic, beg, blame luck, or do you smile and pretend nothing changed? Either way, noted, you think freedom means no one is watching. Wrong again. Freedom is the story they tell you, so you stop checking the ceiling. Because secret clubs don't advertise. They observe. They let you believe you're choosing your path while quietly adjusting the terrain. A step forward feels earned. A fall feels personal, but the slope was set long ago. You weren't excluded because you failed. You were excluded because you didn't notice the test was happening. And here's the joke. The judges aren't monsters. They're mirrors with better lighting. They reflect what you consistently show. When you think No one important is paying attention. Still no names, still no faces, just a pressure behind the eyes, a sense that somewhere a quiet mark was made. Not against you, just about you. And the gavel, it never falls, it doesn't have to. Here's where it gets funny. You think a sentence comes after the verdict? Nope. This one feels like freedom. They don't lock you in. They open a door, wide, bright, labeled choice, and you walk through it, smiling, because who wouldn't? The paradox is simple. The punishment doesn't feel like punishment. It feels deserved. You start saying things like, maybe this is better. Maybe I needed this. Listen to yourself. That's the sentence speaking. Opportunities appear that look perfect, but lead nowhere. Paths unfold that keep you busy and quietly keep you away from where you were meant to stand. No force, no resistance, just redirection. They don't take what matters, they give you something shinier, a distraction that requires gratitude, because an angry prisoner fights, a thankful one defends the cage. You think you chose the long road, you didn't. You accepted the scenic delay, days fill up, progress feels real, applause comes cheap. Yet somehow, you're always one step away from the room where decisions are made, and every time, you almost get there. Something reasonable pulls you back, a responsibility, a favor, a just for now. See, the sentence isn't restriction, it's permission to stay comfortable, to remain busy instead of dangerous, to feel productive without becoming powerful. And the cruelest part, if someone tried to warn you, you'd defend the system. You'd call it patience, growth, timing. That's how you know it worked, because the best sentences don't feel like cages. They feel like choices you'd proudly explain to anyone who asked, and no one ever does, because they're walking through their own open door. Nobody announces it. No applause, no stage, no proud handshake. Yet one day you feel it. Something shifts. The waiting stops, feeling temporary. The excuses stop sounding convincing. And that's when you realize this wasn't a test. It was training. Congratulations, you passed by failing quietly, by adapting, by normalizing pressure, by learning how to smile while shrinking your reach. That's the curriculum. Angels show up first, polite, encouraging, full of advice. They tell you to be patient, to be grateful, to trust the process. Look closer, see the knives hidden behind those smiles, not to kill you, to sculpt you, to trim the parts that asked questions. Then come the monsters, loud ones, obvious ones. They shout, they threaten, they make terrible examples, and you're relieved. You're not like them. That's lesson 2. Fear keeps you compliant. Certificates are handed out without paper, titles without authority, praise without access. You feel accomplished. That's the trap, because graduates don rebel. They defend what shaped them. They say things like, this is just how it works. You have to earn your place. Earn it how? By waiting, by behaving, by staying small until permission arrives. Listen to yourself. That's not wisdom. That's conditioning. Graduation day is the moment you stop asking when it will begin, because deep down, you already know it did a long time ago. And the scariest realization, there's no higher level after this one, just repetition, unless you do the one thing they never prepared you for. You notice power never storms the room. It rearranges the furniture quietly. One day you realize the chairs are taken, not by the loudest, not by the smartest, by the ones who arrived early and never asked why the door was open. That's when the balance tilts. You're still moving, still working, still smiling, but you're no longer advancing. You're circling. Power loves circles. They look like progress to people inside them. From above, they're containment. No speeches, no announcements, just subtle math. Who gets time? Who gets access? Who gets delayed with compliments? You feel it when your words start landing softer, when ideas get repeated later by someone else, louder, cleaner, and everyone nods like it was always theirs. That's not theft. That's hierarchy, correcting itself. Here's the shift. You stop being a participant. You become a reference, a warning wrapped in politeness. Hard worker, reliable, solid. Words they use when they've decided where you stop. Power doesn't punish you for pushing. It rewards you for staying useful. And usefulness is a leash that feels like trust. You're consulted, but never included. Heard, but not followed. Needed, but not chosen. That's the moment. The scale locks in, because power has moved without resistance. Not over you, through you. Using your patience as permission. Your loyalty as proof. You won't disrupt. The arrangement and the cruel twist, the door was never locked. You just learned which lines you weren't supposed to cross. And now, you hesitate before every step. That's not fear. That's calibration. Power doesn't need to stop you anymore. You've learned how to stop yours. Elf, this is where everything snaps into focus. Not loudly, perfectly. All the delays, all the detours, all the almosts, they line up like teeth in a grin you've seen before. The sentence activates without warning, because it was never waiting for permission. It was waiting for timing. Betrayals start making sense. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet ones, the missed call, the delayed reply, the meeting you weren't told about, because it slipped. Sure it did. Losses rearranged themselves. That job you didn't get, that chance that wasn't right, they weren't failures, they were confirmations, proof that the system heard you loud and clear. When you said nothing, that's when the laugh echoes. Not from a mouth, from the structure itself. A soft realization. You were never supposed to be destroyed, just positioned, kept close enough to observe, far enough to never interfere. You feel foolish, good. That's the final emotion they needed. Because anger fights, sadness retreats. But humor accepts. You almost admire it. The elegance, the efficiency. A verdict enforced without force, without touch, without leaving a single mark you could point to and say, there, that's where it happened. And that's the joke. If you complain, you sound bitter. If you explain, you sound paranoid. So you laugh too, a smaller laugh, contained. That's when you understand the verdict was never spoken. It was lived day by day, choice by choice, silence by silence. And somewhere, not above you, but within the mechanism, something smiles. Because the cleanest sentences don't end in chains, they end in acceptance. So now you ask a final question. Who did this? Who enforced a sentence without ever touching you? You look up, you look around, nothing. No villain steps forward, no mastermind removes a mask, because the executioner was never X-Day. Now, it never needed to be. See, real power doesn't swing the blade. It teaches you where to place your neck, slowly, patiently. You helped build the routine. You defended the logic. You explained the delays to yourself better than any enemy could. That's why there are no scars, no bruises, no evidence, just patterns, habits, hesitations. You learned when to speak softly, when to wait, when to shrink an idea before it made others uncomfortable. No one told you to. That's the genius. You calibrated yourself to survive the system, and survival was mistaken for success. The executioner is untouchable because it never shows its hands. It hides in rules that sound reasonable, in advice that feels caring, in warnings that start with, "I'm just looking out for you." You followed them, not because you were weak, because you were smart, too smart, to rebel loudly, too aware, to crash the machine. So you compromised, once, then again, until compromise became your posture. And now here you stand, still breathing, still capable, still intact, which is the cruelest part. Nothing was taken that you can't explain away. Nothing lost that couldn't be reframed as timing or maturity or growth. That's how the execution stays invisible. If you're destroyed, people ask questions. If you're diminished politely, they call it life. But here's the turn they didn't plan for: awareness. Because the moment you see the pattern, it stops tightening. The moment you name the role you were trained to play, you can step out of character. The executioner loses power the second. You stop confusing comfort with safety. You don't need revenge. You don't need exposure. You don't need permission. You just need one decision that isn't optimized for approval. One step that doesn't ask if it's allowed. That's why they never wanted you to notice, because untouched sentences only work on people who believe nothing happened. And now, you know better. No courtroom, no appeal, just a mirror and a quiet question. Are you still serving a sentence you never agreed to? Or are you finally ready to stand without asking who's watching? Choose carefully. This time, the choice is actually yours. It won't feel dramatic. No lightning, no applause. Just a pause where obedience used to live. That's how you know it's real. The system expects noise, outrage, announcements. It's prepared for rebels. It's not prepared for silence that no longer serves it. You don't argue. You don't explain. You simply stop, moving in circles designed by someone else's fear. Watch what happens. Confusion spreads, signals misfire, old levers stop working. Because the moment you stop reacting to the invisible trial, the judges lose context. They can score what they can't predict, and prediction was the only weapon they ever had. You were never meant to escape violently. You were meant to outgrow the room, to make the walls irrelevant. That's the final insult, not rebellion. Independence. You don't expose the game. You don't burn it down. You walk past it without asking if you're allowed. And somewhere, something that once felt all-powerful realizes it can't sentence someone who no longer reports for judgment. No chains broken, no doors slammed, just footsteps moving forward without looking back. That's not freedom. That's immunity.